Following the shooting in Las Vegas, YouTube got a lot of flack because conspiracy theory videos were appearing in search above established news organizations. A lot of people were complaining that this was causing conspiracy theories to flourish. YouTube announced they were going to tweak the algorithm to reduce the visibility of conspiracy theory videos. But following the shooting in Florida, what happens? Once again, we see the #1 trending video was a conspiracy theory video. Now, this is a touchy subject because it hits on fake news, but also on journalistic ethics and practices. And is YouTube a news organization that should have editors curating this kind of content? YouTube put out a statement, and it was very, very interesting. Now, following calls from high-profile YouTubers, people on Twitter, and news organizations, YouTube has removed the video. Before I get into this story, let me give a quick shout-out to today's sponsor. Virtual Shield is a virtual private network service that can help keep you and your data safe as you browse the web. Whether it's a hacker, big business, or government actor, your data can be stolen and spied on. With Virtual Shield, you can protect your privacy and add a simple layer of defense to your internet browsing. Go to virtualshield.com/Timcast and use the promo code TIMCAST to get 20% off and no payments for 30 days. For those that are interested, I've included the link to Virtual Shield below. On Twitter, we saw high-profile users like Casey Neistat saying, "Hey YouTube, you have a conspiracy theory video that attacks a kid who survived the Florida school shooting as #1 on trending. Do you have no human oversight, Philly D? You see this?" And sure enough, Casey posted a screenshot showing the #1 trending video. Confrontation between lifeguard body surfer caught on camera in Redondo Beach goes viral. And then you see here it says David Hogg, the actor. In the thumbnail, you can see CBS2 David Hogg witness. This is a video from a while back showing a confrontation between a surfer and a lifeguard. It was actually a bodyboarder, I think. And it was kind of just a dumb viral video. Honestly, I don't know why the video went viral. It was literally just a lifeguard arguing with some kid, but for some reason everybody wanted to watch it. So CBS2 in California did a story on it. The official explanation as to why David Hogg, who is a survivor of the Florida shooting, is appearing in this video was that he was visiting friends in California and it was his friend and he filmed it. I don't see that as strange at all. I don't understand why this is a conspiracy theory video, or why I don't understand why somebody thinks this is a conspiracy because some kid at some point in his life appeared on a news program. Motherboard ran the story. The #1 trending video on YouTube right now suggests that a student from the Parkland shooting is a crisis actor. A video described as David Hogg, the actor, has made the top of the trending section. Another example that YouTube has a conspiracy theory problem. But there is an update. YouTube has removed the video about 3 hours after this article was first published. It had more than 200,000 views at the time. Other videos from the same YouTube user spreading the same conspiracy theory are still live on YouTube. The first line of this story is, "It's a vile conspiracy theory we might expect from the host of InfoWars, Alex Jones. But right now, it is the #1 trending video on YouTube." And that got me thinking, well, certainly InfoWars exists and publish articles, so let's go see what InfoWars thinks of this video. And InfoWars has the story. Student anti-gun activist featured in CBS News story 6 months ago. Questions swirling around teen activist as odd videos surface. Now, the main photo on this article is from the Redondo Beach bodyboarding story. So it kind of implies they are questioning why this kid appeared on the news at some point in his life. I really don't think it is odd at all that a teenager at some point in his life appeared on a local news station. It's not weird, but there are some other videos that InfoWars does bring up. Near the bottom, there's a video titled David Hogg Can't Remember His Lines When Interviewed.
Because we had a fire alarm earlier that day, and that was a drill, so we thought this was a drill too, just another one. Because we have a lot of fire alarms, a lot of fire drills at the school. After we heard the first gunshot, we initially thought it was a drill. Actually, that was a bad choice. Hold on.
It's okay, you're fine.
Actually, that was a bad choice because the janitor, sorry.
It's okay, you're fine, David, you're fine.
Honestly, when I was going out, I was kind of in, I wasn't, hold on.
It's okay.
When I was going out, I was in shock.
Yeah, saying I don't know how to put this in perspective. It's okay.
So most of my friends that made it out, one of them went into a bathroom in the same, I believe in the same hallway as the shooter. Well, One of them went into the same bathroom, I believe, as the hallway shooter. He was in there at the same time, and he was in the bathroom, and he didn't know if he was going to live.
This video is not odd to me at all. A lot of people are pointing out that because David Hogg is stuttering or stammering, he's practicing his lines for the camera, and I think this is just part of a misunderstanding in how news works. So first, let's consider this. David Hogg just survived a mass shooting, and we don't know how he's going to respond to that. A lot of people assume, incorrectly because of movies, that for one, when you're shot, you immediately go, oh, like you know you're shot. No, a lot of times people get shot don't know they were shot. They don't know what happened. And more importantly, people think they understand exactly how a grief-stricken person would react to these situations. And we know that there's many different ways that people who are facing trauma, shock, or grief respond. In which case, David might be stuttering or stammering because he might be about to cry. Has anyone considered that? Think about it. He's a young kid, he just survived a school shooting, and now they're asking him to talk about it again. So why is he stuttering or stammering and then trying to start over? Possibly because it is traumatic and it is hard for him to put it into words because he keeps thinking about the event. Let's have a little empathy here. Also, keep in mind, you ever pay attention to one of my YouTube videos or anyone else's YouTube videos? We stutter and stammer all the time, and that's why jump cuts happen. Because sometimes we'll say something and we'll say it wrong or it'll sound dumb and we'll go back and redo it. Also, keep in mind that when David Hogg is doing this interview, the journalists might not be telling him what to do. He might just be starting over because he wants to talk clearly, and it is very difficult for him. This is what I don't like about the crisis actor, conspiracy theories. There's a lot of things I don't like about it, but let's keep in mind, we don't know how people should or would react to situations like this, and if you really want to get at the core of what happened, if there's some kind of secret truth that you want to find, making conspiracy videos is the worst thing you can do. Somebody who's doing research and investigation should not publish conjecture or hypothesis. I understand, sure, it's YouTube, people can do whatever they want, but if your true goal is to find out what happened, then you shouldn't be positing these kinds of questions and just saying, see, this proves it. You should dig a little deeper. If something comes up that's interesting, for instance, that this young man appeared in a video from Redondo Beach, if that is suspicious to you, dig into it. And if you can find anything interesting, keep digging until you can find something definitive. And that's exactly what I did. When a lot of people started calling this out, I didn't immediately do what so many journalists do and say, oh, it's a conspiracy, I'm not gonna bother reading into it. No, I did my due diligence, I did some basic work and said, all right, let's make sure we can definitively say this is likely to not be true. And I did some digging and found that some of the roots of the conspiracy theory are coming from parody accounts. Now, I haven't done anything definitive, and I don't have enough to call out any specific accounts, but in my personal opinion, a lot of this is coming from parody accounts. Not all of it. These videos are, in fact, real videos. David Hogg did, in fact, appear in Redondo Beach in this video, and in my opinion, that's just normal. But let's get into the more important subject matter of YouTube, how they deal with conspiracy theories, and whether or not they should have an editorial department editing this content. Julia Alexander posted a statement from YouTube which reads, "This video should never have appeared in trending. Because the video contained footage from authoritative news source, our system misclassified it. As soon as we became aware of the video, we removed it from the trending and from YouTube for violating our policies. We are working to improve our systems moving forward." Let me stop right there and say, holy, they removed the video. Okay, maybe we're violating the policies on copyright grounds. Is that it? But does it constitute commentary or criticism? This is interesting. Somebody uploaded a segment from a local news channel, and the only conspiratorial comment was David Hogg, the actor. So I'm really curious on what grounds they removed it. Was it copyright? And if that's true, is adding a description, does that constitute commentary or criticism? In my opinion, it does. Someone was literally commenting on the subject matter of the video, in which case, this isn't an issue for YouTube to remove, it's an issue for CBS2 to file a copyright claim. But misleading, I don't know what the issue is. If YouTube removed it because they found it misleading, does that mean that YouTube is making an editorial decision as to what is true and what isn't? But Julia Alexander adds, what's interesting about this statement, because the footage was from an authoritative news source, YouTube's algorithm classified it as a piece of authoritative news, even though it wasn't. And that means that YouTube's algorithm isn't looking at who uploaded or what they're saying, it's simply scanning the content of the video. Or maybe more accurately, the YouTube algorithm weighs the content of the video above what you actually write about it. That means if you take a clip from CBS News and write a bunch of nonsense in the description, YouTube will say, well, the video itself, we scanned the content, the computers scanned the content, and found it to be authoritative news. But let's look back at what Julia also said. YouTube's statement on the video in trending, YouTube's trending category is being described as impossible to curate, and there isn't any real human oversight. Algorithm, ladies and gents. And I responded to this pointing out that YouTube does in fact have human intervention in trending, as we saw in one of James O'Keefe's Project Veritas videos, an employee of YouTube claiming that they had the ability to add or remove videos from trending. So there is some human oversight. How is it then that a video like this, which apparently violates YouTube's policies, gets removed? The whole thing is relatively strange. But Julia added to my response, we also know it's slightly curated because there are videos ads that appear in trending which just shouldn't be there. No views, no shares, etc. And another user added, especially as YouTube Content ID will normally take down videos reposting content from known sources or give those sources veto over them. So YouTube's claiming that this made it to the #1 on trending because of its content, because it contained news from authoritative sources. But it was uploaded by a small channel. So which is it, YouTube? Do you have the ability to monitor and make sure people aren't violating copyrights? Or if someone does upload a video that was taken from an authoritative source, will you put it on trending even though you know it's a violation of content ID, it's a violation of copyright? This whole thing smells. And I think the one thing I can say definitively is YouTube is screwed the hell up. Now here's the big conundrum for me. YouTube is a platform where anyone can upload almost anything. Obviously not everything. They have rules. You can't violate certain rules. Now YouTube's claiming this video violated certain rules. Should YouTube curate the trending tab? In my opinion, they should not. Videos that rise should rise and videos that fall should fall. And YouTube should only intervene in certain circumstances. And when it comes to conspiracy theories, I am not absolutely convinced that is how they should respond. We see fake news from large media organizations every day. And I do not advocate for these news organizations being taken down. I believe in the right to free expression and speech, and it is a conundrum. Certainly you can cross the line with libel and slander. I'm not defending that in any way. But when a news organization has a political point of view, when they posit a certain question, when they say things in the headlines that are questions because they can't definitively state them, we allow that. So if someone wants to make a video where they posit this question, should that be removed? In my opinion, no. As much as we might find it detestable because we want to protect the children who survived this mass shooting, we need to keep in mind that there is a dangerous precedent being set if we remove videos that we think are fake. Imagine if an actual news event happened, something interesting, some investigation, and an individual uncovered some very important evidence, but people didn't believe it, so YouTube removed it. We do not want to end up in that world. I think it's safe to say that news itself is frowned upon on YouTube. They don't like it. They even mention that in monetization policies, news isn't going to be monetized. You know, sometimes it can be, sometimes it can't be. And when we see big news organizations getting monetized, it's usually because they're in some kind of preferred program or because they sell the ads directly to themselves and then those ads appear on the YouTube player. But let's take a look at YouTube's policy on news specifically. Violent or graphic content. It's not okay to post violent or gory content that's primarily intended to be shocking, sensational, or gratuitous. If posting graphic content in a news or documentary context, please be mindful to provide enough information to help people understand what's going on in the video. Don't encourage others to commit specific acts of violence. Now, for the most part, I understand. Yes, don't post violent or shocking content for the sake of being violent or shocking, but realize that news itself can be violent or shocking, and news is in ambiguous territory. It may or may not violate YouTube guidelines. When I go and cover events, and someone from Antifa throws fireworks and someone from a conservative group then punches that Antifa person in the face, is that shocking and gratuitous? Is there enough context there? Well, it's too vague to understand. YouTube has not taken a very protective stance of news. In fact, many YouTube news channels appear in the lifestyle category or entertainment. When you go to YouTube News, which is YouTube's curated list of news with 33 million subscribers, you can see that for the most part, they have CNN, Al Jazeera, ABC, CBS, and other verified news organizations. Where are the YouTube creators who should be appearing in news? I will flat out say it. YouTube does very little to support its homegrown creators when it comes to news. They love to put up YouTube Red advertisements, billboards all over the country and the world talking about their comedians and their original characters and the people who became famous on YouTube, and they try and sell that. But what about news creators? Sure, we see the Young Turks, but do they do enough to help support the news community on YouTube? The answer is no, I don't think they do. So that leaves us with the final question. Conspiracy theories. Sometimes they are fake news, but looking throughout history, we can see that there are actual conspiracies that happen at a corporate and government level. In which case, do we allow YouTube to say, look, for the most part, I think most conspiracy theories are kind of weird, wacky, and can be easily debunked. A lot of people who aren't journalists, who don't understand, might publish incomplete investigations, and I tend to err on the side that conspiracy theories, they're likely fake news, being made up by individuals, and as I've already seen with this story, I see some parody accounts trying to fan the flames and encourage this fake news to spread. But there will come a time when someone publishes a video that is a conspiracy theory but turns out to be true. Do we want to give YouTube the ability to say, we're deleting this for violating our policies? Does that mean then that only news that comes through established, powerful, multi-million-dollar or billion-dollar corporations is really news? That's a serious problem. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. You can follow me on Twitter at Timcast. Stay tuned. New videos every day at 4 p.m. Some more trips upcoming. It's getting nice out. It's actually pretty hot in New York. Well, it's not really hot, but it's getting warmer in New York City, and so more trips are being planned. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I will see you tomorrow.